This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Oh, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
It didn't happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reached the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right there, how the devil are we all? Welcome along. It's sloppy seconds time. I don't know whether I can get away with saying that or not, but welcome along. This is Leicester Till I Die TV, and I should explain for those Everton, Newcastle fans that are watching, you may just have seen the introduction. You probably thought you were watching Bullseye because here's what you could have won. You didn't. It's a shame. Hey, it's Leicester Till I Die TV. Find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And if you're watching on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, please smash those likes and give us a subscription. Subscribe. That would be very, very much appreciated. And if you are listening on your podcast platform, whichever one it may be, you can find us on Leicester Till I Die. We've got one of these tonight. It's a special. It's a European special. So we're going to be looking at the 4 teams that are left in it, certainly from an English perspective. 3 competitions, 2 well-known, 1 bit dodgy, but we'll take that this season. And we have got representatives in each of the competitions, and that's the good thing if you are an English fan. I'm sorry, Stephen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the top, and so I'll bring my Man City fan in. he'll hate me saying that. But Ray, it's been a long time. How the devil are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I tell you what, you guys must still be chuffed that last season Pep chucked that FA Cup semi-final to allow Chelsea to get through to the final for you to beat them.
I thought he chucked the Community Shield.
Sorry, what's that?
I thought he chucked the Community Shield.
He's been chucking games left, right and centre. And he chucked the FA Cup semi-final again. But anyway, you're in Europe. You're in the semi-final, so...
We are. You know what it's like, though? The more success you get, the more the fans want more success.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've had 2 really, really good seasons. And you know what? It was, it's not been, we've had a lot of problems. It's been a bad season, but we move on. And like you say, we're in the semi-final, as indeed are you, Champions League. Now, the team that couldn't beat you in the league but did manage to pull one over you in the FA Cup, I'm afraid, quadruple still on. Stephen, the Man City fan, Liverpool fan, Freudian slip there. How the devil are you, sir?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you for having me on. Always good to be on the show.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming. Quadruple, is it possible?
I'll be magnanimous and just take one game at a time, as Jurgen and the boys are saying. One game at a time. You can only play the team that's in front of you, and just take it one game at a time. We're not getting carried away. We're in a good position. Of course we are. It just so happens that in the league there's a team that's just as good as us, if not better, unfortunately, at this moment in time in Manchester City. But we're still fighting on all 4 fronts, and it's just about enjoy it while you can, really.
I think you used every football saying going there.
Cliche.
The only one you didn't use was it's a game of two halves. But I think you still got that one coming. I did a show at the start of the season with a West Ham channel, which was comparing the West Ham team of this season, having done so well last season, with the Leicester City squad that won the Premier League. What happened, Rob? Good evening. How are you?
My mind's a blank, Chris. I can't remember that at all.
No, that wasn't you. In fairness, it wasn't you. It was another channel. But yeah, I mean, again, we're all in the semi-final, so none of us can be downbeat. But and again, there's two guys there that can't be downbeat with the league. But you started off well. Sounds like a song. It started off so well, but it's kind of getting a little bit bitty now for you, isn't it, Rob?
Well, if you look at the depth of our squad, or rather the shallowness of the squad, it's a minor miracle that we've got to the semi-finals of a European competition, and we're in the top 6 of the Premier League as I speak. No, top 7. Excuse me, top 7 of the Premier League. It's a minor miracle that we're competing on those two fronts, to be quite honest with you. I didn't expect to be in the semi-finals. I've got to be completely honest. I'd have been quite happy to make the round of 16, and that would have done me no problem at all. So to have a European semi-final, I'm in dreamland, mate.
Yes. And Rob, you had a good season last season. Obviously, you finished just below us, but we both got into the Europa. Mm-hmm. How are the fans reacting to? Are they still sort of supportive? Are they still behind Moyes?
You're not going to please everybody. There's people out there that still make noises that Moyes should have done this, Moyes could do that. You can pick holes in anything if you look hard enough. The fact of the matter is, like I say, we're in the semi-finals. We're in the top 7. We could still finish in European qualification places, because don't forget, with the result in the semi-finals last week in the FA Cup, it means that you get a European place for 7th. And I'm not being funny, for a team like us, if we was to end up not winning the Europa League, thereby not getting into the Champions League next season, and we got 7th and we got the Conference League, I'd take it all day long. I'm not going to turn my nose up at it, unlike Tottenham.
Well, I was going to get that in. Who just got kicked out. I mean, I'm going to. I'll come to you first with this one, Ray. Then I'll pass the same question to Steve. We did a show the other night with Brad, a podcast, which team's got the most disillusional fans, and it was very, very tight between Man United and Arsenal. And what gets me with those teams was Arsenal last season didn't want to finish 7th because they didn't want to play in the Europa Conference. So they'd as soon have finished 8th because they said it would do them better this season. Well, which is debatable. Man United, well, they doesn't look like they're going to get Champions League. So if they finish sort of in the conference places, we'll stick the kids in. It'll be a good play. I mean, very much both teams disrespecting the Conference League. Now, for me, we're in it. It's a European competition. If we get the trophy, it's another one that Spurs have yet to get. Ray, first of all, what's your views on that sort of attitude from fans?
First of all, the Conference League is just, from UEFA's point of view, it's just another way to make money. I think we're all pretty much, agree on that. Having all these extra games makes money for UEFA and the clubs, and it keeps the clubs that are a bit further down in the pecking order. It keeps them slightly happy with UEFA because they're getting, I don't know how much money Leicester will get for being in the Conference League, but I would suggest you're going to get, whatever, 5, 10, 15, 20 million, whatever.
I think I read 5 million at this point somewhere. So,
that's not too shabby, really. And it also gives the clubs something to look forward to, the fans as well, because I'm sure your fans are actually if they weren't up for it at the start, they should be up for it now. You're in the semi-finals, so the excitement's there. So I think it's a mix of, obviously the money, but keeping clubs in with UEFA and keeping the fans happy. So that's good. The disrespect, I don't get it. These United and Arsenal, they still walk around as if it's 2004. You know, they're still pretending they're Billy Big Bollocks at the moment when they're not. You know, they're also rans, and it's not just the fans; it's the clubs and the hierarchy think that they're entitled to better, and so they're disrespecting these competitions. And you never know. You know, people have said maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, the Europa Conference League might be, you know, a decent trophy to be in. People respect it. You know, some of you, Matt, I think you're old enough, Chris. You're old to remember we used to have 3 European competitions.
No.
We used to have,
and to be in the Champions League, you had to actually be champions.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was a while ago.
You had the cup winners, you had the champions who were in the European Cup, and then you had the UEFA Cup, and that were it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Stephen, you know, if you look at the conference, look at the semi-finals of the conference. I mean, there's Leicester, there's Roma, there's Feyenoord, there's Marseille. There were some big clubs even in the, you know, in the quarterfinals. The clubs that not that well, I think apart from Blod Glimt, I think all other 7 in the quarterfinalists had been in the Champions League within the past sort of decade.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just obviously we're going back to your question there. I think once you're in a competition, then surely you've got to try and take it seriously because it's a trophy at the end of the day. Would you rather win nothing, or would you rather win at least one trophy? So yeah, obviously it may not be the first choice trophy for many people, but once you're in that competition, you go on to try and win it, don't you? Otherwise, what's the point of being in it?
Well, you would hope so. And Rob, I mean, you know, Leicester, West Ham, pretty similar teams. I mean, we're in this competition because we failed in the Europa League. Now, as a Leicester fan, I don't think that's right. I don't think we should be in the competition, but we are, and that's the rules. You know, it's like Man United a couple of seasons ago nearly won the Europa League because they failed in the Champions League. And of course, they're now possibly bringing in this new rule where, you know, if Man United don't qualify, they might be able to on their history.
It's in. That rule's in, isn't it, Chris?
Is it a definite? Has it definitely been approved? You know,
that's crazy. If that's guaranteed,
isn't it?
Crazy. I don't understand that.
Nah.
For me, you should be in there on what you achieved in the season that's just finished, not what your name is in your history. I mean, you know, what are we going to do? We're going to sort of go back to the fact that Bolton Wanderers were the first team to compete in the FA Cup at Wembley in 1923. Yes. Oh, let's give them a place in some European competition. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Chris was there, weren't you, Chris?
now, Ray. Now. I mean, let me ask. I'm going to ask you all because I've just stated, you know, we're in the conference. Barcelona had come down to sort of, you know, dropped out the Champions League into the Europa League. What do you guys think? And I'll go round in order. So start with you again, Ray. What do you think about the clubs? You know, surely if you're out of one European competition, and we know why they do it, because if, like Barcelona, have a bad season, exactly, Rob, you know, it keeps them in Europe. But ethically, it's wrong, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Morally, ethically, and for sporting reasons, it's totally wrong. Yes, they do it because the teams that are dropping down from the Champions League, you've got some big draws. You've got some big draws coming down, like Barcelona. In other seasons, you've had other decent sides. Man United dropped out a couple of seasons. Was it last season? So you've got big teams dropping down, and that adds a little, not cachet, but a bit more sparkle because you've got the big names there. And that all helps with that money thing again, because you got Barcelona, Man United there. Sponsors want to pay a bit more money. It adds a little bit of sparkle to the competition, but it's wrong. It's totally out of order, really. I mean, you said it yourself, Chris. You guys drop into the from the Europa League to the Conference League. It's totally out of order. But you know, you guys. Good thing is you still got so much to play for because you're mid-table in the league. You're not going to get European competition next season unless you win this Conference League. So it keeps your season alive, really.
It does. Would you agree, Stephen, with that?
Yeah, completely. I think once you're out, you're out. I think it's a bit of an unfair advantage because obviously, if you look at the teams that obviously qualified for the Europa League on merit, yes, obviously you qualified for the Champions League on merit, but if you've gone out of it, then you're not good enough to obviously stay in Europe. So I think once you're out of Europe, that's it. Yes, obviously it's obviously favoured you massively, Chris. Obviously for Leicester this season, but I think overall it just the integrity of the sport in general. It's once you're out, you're out. That should be the end of it.
And Rob, you agree? Giving this a full house?
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I've always thought it's quite. It lacks in sporting integrity for me. Exactly as the Ray and Steve have just said. Once you're out of a tournament, that's it. You're done. Close the door on your way out, sort of thing. But we know why it's done. As I say, it's purely for money reasons. That's why anything happens in life. Let's be honest about it.
Totally. Well, we're going to go through the competitions now, and we're going to start at the top and come down to the bottom, which is me. Well, what can I say? It's there, it's out there. First of all, Ray and Stephen, before we go into your teams in a bit of detail, can we see another? I mean, first of all, it's great. I think that as a country, we've got representatives still in all four competitions. Like you said, Tottenham did the best not to be, but they ended up not in it, didn't they? But can we have an all English Champions League final again?
Yeah,
why not? Why not?
It would make it interesting.
You expect Liverpool to beat Villarreal, and I think City have got a decent chance against Real Madrid. If we come with that A game, you'll see an all English final.
Yeah. Let me I'll move myself to the bottom because, as the Archbishop said to the vicar, we're in order. Oh, I can hardly. Hang on. No, we're still not in order. There we go. No, we're not. No, we'll do it in a minute. I'm very. It drives me mad, But then we can't see Ray. But I tell you what, sod it. Here we go. Right. So let's start with Man City, Champions League, and you're up against Real Madrid. I mean, it's the old story, isn't it? You got to play big teams when you get to this stage of the competition. How do you rate your chances, Ray?
I think better than 50-50, which I'm happy about, actually. Look, Real Madrid, they're coasting La Liga. I think I read they were 18 points clear or something ridiculous. So they're coming into this in good form. They're going to be able to rest players. So I think that's going to give them a huge boost, a huge advantage. We saw in the FA Cup, City had to rest players because that's the competition that out of the three that were left, that Pep and I think the fan said that's the one. We'll take the hit and and mix it up a bit, and it didn't work. Liverpool were far too strong, and I can see that happening with Real Madrid because obviously Liverpool, when they played against Benfica, the second leg, they rested about 7 of the first team players, all fit for the next game. And I think at this business end of the season, when players' bodies are tired, their minds are tired, it's going to be a big boost to Real Madrid. Having said that, City against a tough Atletico side, we didn't let any goals in. In that second half, we were under big pressure, and we managed to to stay strong. So I think we've seen a steely determination in City now defensively. Ruben Dias is back. Obviously, it's going to help City tremendously to have him back. We're almost, I think, almost at full strength. For the first game, we without Cancelo because he's suspended. But I think that pretty much the rest of them are there. So that equalises it up a bit. I think we're slight favourites. I think we are. We're one of the 2 best teams in Europe right now, and I think it's all about coming to the party. Sometimes in the Champions League, we've not come to the party. Pep's messed it up, tinkered it with it. Pretty much every season he's done that, and it's cost us. And I'm just hoping he just takes. It's 2 legs on a one-off game. Yes, we can get beat, But over two legs, I think we are too good for Real Madrid. And it's just that, as I said, we turn up. I think we do the business.
I mean, I'm just looking at La Liga now, and yes, you are like 13. They are about 15 points ahead. But whether that's the fact that Real Madrid are good or just Barcelona are not being so good this season.
But my point is, it's helping them. You know, they can play the kids for the rest of the season, and they'd get still win it.
No. I do get it. I mean, this is your history in the cup against Real Madrid. You played 6 times. 1, 2, drawn 2, lost 2. You both scored 7 goals. I mean, there's not a bit of paper between them until you get down to the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo scored a few more goals. But it's with the troubles that Madrid and all the Spanish teams are having, it is there for your take, and it's the one league that Pep hasn't sort of won for Manchester City.
Yeah.
You got close, obviously, when you lost to Chelsea, and there's a lot of question marks over his team selection. You don't know necessarily Pep, but obviously, he's your manager. And I know we get at Leicester accused of bottling a lot. Does he learn his lessons?
No. No. We got beat by Monaco. We lost 3-1 away after winning 5-3 at home, and we were too open. We got beat by Liverpool. We got beat by Spurs. Come on. We got beat by Spurs.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, but we got beat by Spurs. I think that season we were winning everything domestically, and we got beat by Spurs. A team that if we went there in the league not too long later, and we beat them comfortably, even if the scoreline didn't suggest that. So he's always managed to do it. Lyon. He got beat by Lyon in a one-off game 2 years ago. Last season against Chelsea, there's 5 times, I think I've just mentioned. Basically, every time we get knocked out, Pep's done something dodgy. And that's extremely frustrating. I just want him to play the best team, put it out there, and let them do the business. And I think if he can avoid tinkering, then, as I said, I think we've got a better than 50-50 chance.
I think you're going into this game, I think, are you unbeaten in the Champions League this season?
Oh, I think we lost the last round game. We lost the last...
I know you beat... Well, looking at this, you beat Club Brugge 5-1, 4-1 in the return, 2-1 PSG. Oh, no, you lost to Leipzig. You did lose 1 to Leipzig. But you're going in good form. And talk us through your run to the semi-final. Is it obviously looking at that, only losing 1 game? You must be very happy with it.
Yeah, I think obviously the big one was the last game. Before that, we beat Sporting. Was it 5-0 away from home?
Yeah,
and it didn't. I think we drew. Was it 0-0 at home? It didn't really matter.
Yeah,
we mixed that up. And that's the beauty of winning. The first leg comfortably. You can mix it up and rest players. And as I said earlier, that Atletico Madrid, that was a tough game. Most of us would have watched that, and it was a hard watch. It really was. That second half, the first half we played reasonably well. We had a chance, we didn't take it. Second half, we were under the pump, and I think we were lucky, very lucky to prevail. But we did. So that's given us a little bit of heart to show that we can do it the gritty way. Winning it. It's almost unheard of. City get through winning 1-0 on aggregate. It's now that. So it's good that we can do that. But yeah, I'd like a game where we can go out and get. I think we need a few goals. I think we need a lead against Real Madrid.
It's a bit of a spoiler there for when we come to the Liverpool one in a second. But Liverpool, they're favourites to win it. And then Real Madrid, and then yourselves, and then Villarreal. I think you need to get a few more Man City fans onto the UEFA site voting there. What we're going to do, obviously, Ray, you think you believe you can win this game. Stephen, who do you think will go through to the final, Manchester City or Real Madrid?
Oh, it's a difficult one. I mean, obviously, Man City are one of the best teams in Europe at the minute, so you can't disregard them in any way, shape, or form. But then you look at Real Madrid's team, Benzema, fantastic. He's obviously beat PSG single-handedly, but then PSG, I don't know what they were doing that game, defending, didn't know how to defend. And then obviously Chelsea as well. Benzema gets a couple of goals at Stamford Bridge. So you've got Modric, Toni Kroos. Yes, they're getting on a bit, but you've seen Modric assist. I think in the quarterfinals, what an assist that was as well. So I think City just slight favourites. But you just never know in this competition. I mean, even our game against Villarreal is not set in stone. We'll go on to that.
It sounds like you're going to sit on the fence, and I'm not going to let you.
No. I think Man City will just edge it.
You do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will just edge it. But
okay,
yeah, it's going to be.
Rob, coming to you. Which way? Remember that everyone's going to vote on yours as well. So you can, if you want to be nice to sort of earn a few brownie points.
No, listen, I want to see an all English Champions League final.
Yes.
I haven't got a horse in that particular race if it comes to pass. As I say, I love being able to just sit there as a complete neutral and watch the best go at one another and may the best team prevail on the day. But absolutely, I want to see both English teams make it through against their opposition. It won't be easy. I think that Real Madrid, that their name 13-time winners of this competition, but they're not the team they once upon a time were. Villarreal, they're going to be a tough nut to crack, but I just think that they are gonna fall short. So I think it will be an all English final, and obviously this final would have been played in St. Petersburg if I remember correctly. But obviously, what's going on in Russia, it's not quite so far a journey if it is the two English teams that get there. It's going to be in Paris.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's going to be tight. I'm not going to lie. My worry is that will the Champions League curse over Pep at Man City continue? I really thought that, and I had them down to beat Chelsea last time until he decided the team he'd pick. But it is going to be tight. But I am going to go for Man City because, like I said, I don't care who they are. Well, maybe not Forest or Derby, but if an English team's in Europe, I want them to do well, obviously. So you're full house there for you. Well, I don't think we're going to get anything but a full house, are we, here for all of us? Moving on to Stephen at Liverpool. Well, not at Liverpool, but for Liverpool. Again, please, whatever you do, even if you lose and don't get to the final, would you just kick the shit out of Villarreal for me? I'm not forgiven for what they did to Fofana in the pre-season friendly. So please feel free to take your vengeance out on them totally. I mean, this is how it looks at the moment. I mean, Liverpool 1-1 drawn 1-1. I think this is a bit of incorrect information on UEFA's website because they've got Liverpool as first.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Maybe they did it last night. Maybe they did it, on Tuesday night or on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, yeah. Well, of course, we can trust UEFA. We won't say that there's anything dodgy about that at all. You're in the FA Cup final, your League Cup winners. Like we say, the quadruple is still on. Villarreal, 1-1, drawn, 1 loss, but they're 7th in La Liga. How do you fancy your chances, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to be confident. I think Villarreal are putting all their eggs in one basket and obviously just concentrating on the Champions League. They're not going to get anywhere in the league. So I think their league form's gone and they're just, like I say, they're putting a different starting 11 in the league compared to Champions League. It's completely different. But yes, obviously, when you think about it, obviously compared to Man City, Real Madrid, it's not really the mouth-watering clash that you'd want to see. But Villarreal have beaten Juventus and Bayern to get to obviously the semi-final, which is no easy task. And you can only beat the teams in front of you, but you have to look. The game's obviously not played on paper. It's obviously played on the pitch. And you've just got to fancy Liverpool and the form that they're on. I mean, it could be again where we're in that luxury. They're both knockout games. Obviously went away to Inter Milan, won 2-0. Obviously lost at Anfield, but much changed team there. Again, went away to Benfica, won 3-1 and drew 3-3 in the home leg. Much changed team again. We made 7 changes in that day. But yeah, all in all, it stands to be Liverpool in the final. I can't see any other way, shape, or form that Liverpool won't be in that final.
And I mean, I said there's 4 going on. You've got the cup fight, the League Cup in the bag already. If you had, I know fans hate saying this, but if you had to pick one, would you sooner say to have the FA Cup final, or would you want the Champions League again?
Champions League again, without a shadow of a doubt. I know it's not the one that, obviously, FA Cup final is the only one that Jurgen hasn't won as Liverpool manager. He's won everything else that there is to win. So the FA Cup's the only one that he hasn't won. We haven't been in an FA Cup final since 2012 against Chelsea. So that's hopefully we'll put that right, obviously, and get another victory under our belts. But yeah, Champions League is the be all and end all for ourselves as well as the Premier League.
Yeah, and you've not had the. We'll say not had the. I'm not being sarcastic here, but you've had good form going along the way. You played Atletico. You beat them twice. And you've had Inter Milan there as well, but they obviously get their own back on you. Have you been happy with the form that you must be in the semi-final? But you've been happy with the way you've been playing leading up to this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't grumble at that. I mean, you have to look at the Inter game at Anfield. Again, we made a lot of changes. I think what you find with Liverpool is if we make wholesale changes, a bit like what Man City did, it takes them a while to gel. For first 45 minutes in the FA Cup semi-final, we were all over them. Second half was completely different. You'd expect City to be a lot better, which they were, and probably in their right mind, they would probably think that they deserve to maybe take it to extra time just on the second half performance alone. We got a bit lucky in the end, but I think overall we deserve to get through to the final. But I think the main worry for me is when we make wholesale changes, the rhythm isn't there, and we sort of struggle. We don't look the fluent Liverpool that we are when we've got our proper starting 11 playing.
I mean, that Benfica game at Anfield. I mean, you're 3-1 up. They gave you a scare, didn't they? Really?
Oh yeah, massively, massively. Yeah. And I mean, that Darwin Núñez, what a player he is. I mean, he bullied obviously Konate and Joel Matip on the day. He was absolutely brilliant. But again, it's one where we made 7 changes. So when you make that amount of changes, you can't just expect the same sort of performances. Yes, they're all decent players. Obviously, the starting 11's world class. But when you sort of look at the bench, yes, it's got a lot better because we've got everyone fit at the moment. But obviously, once you take that 11 out of it and you play completely near enough a different 11, then the fluency is not going to be there. And obviously, we've been found out in them games, albeit we're pretty much already through in all fairness.
Yeah. Ray.
Yeah.
Can you see Liverpool going to win this for you and meet you in the final?
You'd think so. I mean, the thing is, I don't want to and I don't think Liverpool will do this, just discount Villarreal by saying, look where they are in the league. They've got no heritage of being in Champions League. They do Europa League winners. They've done well to get here. They beat Bayern Munich last round. Was it Juventus before that?
Yeah.
So they've done all right to get here. So they've obviously had something about them that over 2 legs they've beaten Juventus and the mighty Bayern Munich. So, is it Unai Emery there? He's got them doing all right. So, I tell you what, Arsenal fans must be pulling their hairs out because, they really had a go at this guy and look what he's doing. He shows he can do it. So, I blame the fans because what's the difference? Villarreal haven't got that much money, you know. Arsenal have. They spend a lot of money. Managers the same. Arsenal have better players. So what's the problem? It can only be the fans. So it must be the Arsenal fans who are causing their own demise. It's a shame we haven't got an Arsenal fan.
I know it couldn't happen to a nicer team.
Absolutely. So, but no, look. I think same. If Liverpool turn up, I think they win this tie by 2 or 3 clear goals.
Yeah, Rob, are you backing Liverpool on this one?
Yeah, as I say, I think that they over 2 legs. I just don't see that they'll they'll come unstuck. As Ray said earlier, on a one-off game, anything can happen. But I just think that home and away, I just don't see any set of circumstances where Liverpool can't get through, to be perfectly honest. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I mean, Ray said it earlier. They've got past Juventus. They've got past Bayern Munich. They're not to be taken lightly. And I don't think the Jurgen Klopp will allow Liverpool to take them lightly. I think he'll put a team out to do the job over the two legs, and they'll get to the final where they'll play City.
Definitely. I think with that one, Chris, as well, I read somewhere that Unai Emery's got a better knockout record than Jurgen Klopp, obviously at Liverpool, over two legs anyway. So that's not one to be looked at as well. I mean, you look at them, and yes, obviously the seventh in the league, but I think if I had a choice, because Villarreal play with quite a low block, a bit like what obviously Ray's team Man City had to put up with parking the bus Atletico Madrid. We've obviously been through that ourselves, but I think I would have rather, if you give me Villarreal or Bayern, I think I would have rather played Bayern Munich, because I would have fancied the chances even more than Villarreal, just because the Villarreal are a defensive team, and Unai Emery knows how to get to a final. You just have to look at Sevilla, what they won it 3 or 4 years in a row. So he knows how to do it.
Yeah, and again, it might be that Villarreal don't know that UEFA has got a website, but they're on 4% to win it, and like I say, you're just edging it to win it. But I've got to. I mean, as I say, with my feelings towards Villarreal, you know, if they were playing Forest, I'd want Forest to beat them. You know, that's how much I don't like them at the moment. So again, it's a full house for yourself, and we come down to the Europa League, where two of us were in it at one stage, Rob. We cocked it up, and I've got to be honest with you. I remember speaking to sort of West Ham fans at the start of the season, and you were kind of alluded to it earlier about the size of your squad and possible injuries if that was to affect it. And I'm pleased you have. You know my feelings towards West Ham. You know, if it can't be Leicester that can get into that 5th, 6th position, then I want another team to do it rather than Spurs or Arsenal. Sorry, I thought it was an alarm going off here then. You've got, I mean, I've seen the West Ham fans, how they've reacted, etc. You've got to be in dreamland, haven't you?
Yeah, massively. I mean, two years ago, we were staring down the barrel of relegation. You'd have said to me then, oh, you're going to be playing a European semi-final in 2 years' time. Don't worry about it. I'd have looked at you and gone, mate, seriously? Have a word with yourself. But that's exactly where we are. The jobs that David Moyes has done has been absolutely sensational. Really, just getting us out of relegation. Don't forget he was there in a previous stint. Got us out of the relegation mire. There was waved a cheery bye-bye. It was a vanity project by David Sullivan to get in a name manager, and I know obviously he did great things at City, Ray, but it just didn't work at West Ham. It didn't. And I'm not saying he's a bad manager. Sometimes the pieces of the jigsaw don't fit, and they didn't fit. Pellegrini and West Ham, it just didn't work out. He comes back and gets us out of the relegation, gets us to 6th in the Premier League last season, qualifies us for this. And like I said, I'd have been quite happy to just qualify from the group, and anything beyond that is a bonus. And we're in a semi-final. I was there in Lyon last week, actually. And there was an awful lot of West Ham fans that went over there on a bit of a wing and a prayer, hoping to get a ticket whilst we was out there. So many of us didn't get in. I was one of them. Ended up watching it in a pub in Lyon, and there was literally thousands of West Ham fans over there in exactly the same boat. And we were sort of hoping that we could get past Lyon, obviously, the first leg. I know that the away goals rule had been scrapped, but even so, Cresswell was out suspended because he was red carded in the first leg. We'd lost Kurt Zuma to injury at the Brentford game in the intervening weekend. So we went into it with half of our regular recognised back four missing. So I think we were sort of thinking, this might be the end of the journey. I mean, Lyon are not a mug team. They're an established European outfit. And we took them apart. We absolutely took them to pieces. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'll be perfectly honest. I still have to pinch myself. But now we come across Frankfurt, and obviously there was a lot of West Ham fans when we knew that it was going to be either Frankfurt or Barcelona. There was an awful lot of West Ham fans that were, oh, wouldn't it be great to play Barcelona at the Nou Camp? And I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, you do realise we played Frankfurt in a semi-final in Europe in '76 when we got to the final. So there's a little part of me that was sort of thinking, do you know what? I'd actually quite like Frankfurt in a funny, nostalgic sort of way. And we've that's exactly what we've got. But again, there's no mug teams when you get to the last four of a European competition. There just isn't. So this is another step up. You know, we've had to raise our game to get past Sevilla. Obviously, a team that pretty much have owned this competition. Yeah. We've had to raise our game again to go against Lyon. We're going to have to find another gear to get past, to hopefully get to a final against Rangers or Leipzig.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there Sevilla. I think you were only the second English team to beat Sevilla ever in Europe. Of course, do you know who the first one was?
I guess Leicester City.
Please inform me.
Funny you should ask. When you should say that, Stephen. Yes, it was Leicester City, but no. As you said there, your last appearance in the final four of UEFA competition was against Frankfurt. Trevor Brooking's double. My God, that's going back, isn't it? Trevor Brooking, 3-1, a second leg home success. And I mean, Frankfurt. I mean, you know, looking at the Bundesliga at the moment, I'm just trying to see where they are. I mean, they're down in 10th.
Yeah.
You know, they've won 10, they've lost 11, they've scored 40, but they've conceded 42. You can't take any team lightly. And in a way, league form goes out of the window when it gets to this stage, I think, you know, and you can't take them lightly, but you must be sort of inside. There must be a little bit thinking of, yeah, we can do this.
Of course. I mean, I'm cautious. I'm optimistic. However, I know that Frankfurt could turn us out, but if we play to our maximum, there's no reason why we couldn't put them out over two legs. The only thing that worries me is, like I say, the injuries now are starting to pile up. We've obviously got Diop's now joined Ogbonna and Zuma in the treatment room, so that's 3 recognised first-team squad centre-backs that are out. So the question is going to be, and it will probably be answered when we play Chelsea at the weekend, who's going to play at centre-back? Is it going to be, are we going to stick with 4 at the back, which means that someone's going to have to be essentially a square peg in a round hole? Are we going to drop Thomas Soucek in as a centre-back? Are we going to drop Declan Rice in? Is it going to be maybe Ben Johnson? Or will we change shape? Will we go to 3 at the back? It's a real head scratcher at the minute. I mean, sort of, I wouldn't like to see Declan Rice played there, but the truth of the matter is he probably is our best defender at the club.
Well, welcome to my world this season. That's all I can say to you. Square pegs in round holes. Ray, can West Ham do this? I mean, Frankfurt, like we say, you know, they're sat there mid-table, but you know they've done well to get to this stage.
Absolutely, they've done well, but I think West Ham have had a few hiccups, but pretty much they've had a decent season. You know, obviously getting this far, they're still up there in the league. Was it 7th? So they're still knocking on the door of automatic European qualification next season. Yeah, I think probably the Champions League is beyond them unless they can win this Europa League. And I think you've got to have all your eggs in this basket, you know, and I think West Ham fans will probably agree. Everything's got to go into this Europa League competition, try and win it. If it means that you sacrifice the league and you don't qualify for Europe next season, I still think most of the West Ham fans would go along and say, that's what we want to do. We want to win a European trophy and qualify for the Champions League. We'll take that risk. And if we end up finishing 8th in the league and we don't make it, so be it. You know, you want to win trophies. It's not all about, you know, qualify for the Champions League but get knocked out of the Europa League. I don't think most fans would want that. So, But as I said, West Ham, I think they're plenty good enough to win this. They've got the players. If Antonio, I don't know what's happened to him. He cost me a lot of points on my fantasy team. I had him early in the season. I stuck by him for so long. So no, I think you've got enough quality there. You've definitely got enough quality to get to the final, and then it's if you can step up, but get through this one, I think you'll do that.
Whatever happened to that cardboard cutout, Rob, of Antonio?
I think he's playing up front at the minute, isn't he?
I want to say he could have scored against us when we played you the first time. We were that awful.
The thing is, he's still working really hard for the team. It's just not going in the back of the net. I mean, he couldn't hit a cow's ass for banjo at the minute.
And Steve, do you think West Ham can do this one?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they've got the difficult tie over with Sevilla. I don't think many people expected West Ham to beat the seasoned pros, shall we say. Obviously, in a competition which they're used to winning. Obviously, the final would have been the final is at Sevilla as well. So obviously, Sevilla would have been expected to be there. But fair play to West Ham. Obviously, really well to get there, and I think they can beat Frankfurt and get to the final. And it would be nice again if it could be a British final, because Rangers are in the other semi-final position, but it's going to be difficult for obviously Rangers. I think West Ham have got enough to get past Frankfurt, but I think it's probably going to be a West Ham Leipzig final for me.
Yes, and West Ham there. Obviously, a lot of fans say onto the UEFA website. 38% say you're going to win it, Rob.
Well, it's a nice little graphic, but it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
we need to turn up.
Do you realise how long I spent on these graphics?
Sorry, mate. But it's like when people look at form, and it's like this, as you said earlier, form goes out the window. It really doesn't matter. And Ray's right. If we chuck all our eggs into this particular basket and finish 8th, but end up actually carrying this trophy home, yeah, not a problem, because as you say, A, it's a trophy, and B, it's qualifying for the Champions League next season. Take that all day long.
Indeed. And then we come to, well, for me, the most important team in Europe still, but probably in the least important competition, which we sort of touched on earlier. But obviously my team, Leicester City. And we're facing Roma, and the special one is coming back. We've got him sacked twice from the English team, so maybe we could go for the third. Like I say, I count our chickens very lucky that we're still in Europe, and we had we've had a bad season, and like Rob alluded to, our injuries have been absolutely awful. 23 over 23 injuries. Over 9 defenders injured at some point during the season. It wasn't the case that Rodgers had the he couldn't go sort of say, this is the team I'm playing because I want this team. It's who's available. Well, I've got 3 defenders, so I need to go with a back 3. That was how our seasons worked out. And the last game in the Europa League in our group, I think at some point that night we were all sort of leading at one point. At some point, all the teams could have gone through to the next round. We didn't, and we dropped into this, which I don't agree with, but we are in this. I think for me, I think that UEFA sort of missed the boat, because they've called it the conference, which obviously I think for English fans, we immediately think, the 5th tier and part-timers, and to tag it on to the Europa, so it hasn't even got its own identity. You look at the Champions League and you look at Europa, and it's 2 separate competitions. For this, it's green instead of orange. It just, to me, they've almost, made it that way themselves. But like we say, there's some big teams that have had recent European success have been in there. We could have had we finished second, would have played up against Barcelona, but then we may well have been out. My worry for Leicester is, and we touched on this before we came live, guys, if you remember, we're having trouble holding on to a lead. And, this happened against Napoli in that last game. And I thought we'd got that out of our system. When you're beaten by Spurs, when you're 2-1 up and it's 93 minutes gone. There's no way you're thinking about losing that game, and yet we managed to. But on the plus side, we're starting to get all our players back now. Fofana is back, Evans is back, and we saw 7 changes against Crystal Palace. There's many changes against Eindhoven. Then there's many changes back again for Everton. So there's a lot of good things to think, because they almost seem to be coming right at the right time for us with the players coming back. I don't know who I would have wanted to get here. I mean, Roma, you like you say, whoever you play, I mean, I didn't think we were going to get past Eindhoven, but it was one day when Rodgers just got all his substitutions right, and we came on, and even Perez turned up for that game, which is like, my God, if he only turns up in the last 20 minutes of the second leg of all the European games, I'll be happy, but I know he won't. But I think we're going to struggle, but it's all we've got to play for this season, like you said. I would do, but Roma are in 5th place in the Italian league, Serie A. They've won 17, they've lost 9, 54 scored, 37 against. It is going to be, like I say, a tough game. We didn't have a lead going into Eindhoven, and I think that kind of helped us, because in the second leg, being at Eindhoven, 0-0, they'd come and park the bus. But in that second leg, they really had to come at us because it was a home game. And I think that kind of played into our hands a bit. But I'm going to really be honest with you. Obviously, I'd love to be in the final. I accept that we're lucky to be there, and I accept that it is sort of the 3rd tier of European Cup competitions. But if we could win it and be the first name on that trophy, that would mean a hell of a lot. But I honestly think I can see us sort of struggling. Ray, do you see Leicester being able to get past Roma?
Yeah, I think they're a bit hit and miss, aren't they? You're a bit hit and miss. But I think you guys will be up for this game. I think you'll be up for it. And you've still got enough quality there. You've still got plenty of quality. And I hope you do it. I really do. It'd be boring for Europe, but can you imagine having something like, Leicester in the final, West Ham versus Rangers, City versus Liverpool? That'd be unbelievable. And I hope it happens.
And it would be great to have 3 English names on 3 different European trophies, all for the same year. I mean, Roma, like Stephen, like Ray said, I mean, they lost 6-1 to Blod Glimt and they lost the first leg of the quarters to Blod Glimt as well. Yeah. And in a way, I'd sooner actually be playing Roma than Blod Glimt, because I just love saying that, Blod Glimt, because where they are. I mean, they're above the Arctic Circle, which is bloody cold, because I've done that myself. They're playing on an artificial pitch, which is why they obviously tend to win more at their own place. And I'm old enough to remember when Queen's Park Rangers had the fake pitch. But we know how Josie plays. We know his thinking and what have you. So it could be a bit easier. How would you see this one going over the 2 legs?
Well, Roma are on the team that they used to be, although with the Totties and so on. Yes, they've got Tammy Abraham, but I think like I say, you've got the squad coming back at the right time. You've got Fofana, who I rate very highly. I think he's a quality defender. You've got players who can score goals. Harvey Barnes, obviously Tielemans, Madison, of course. Laka, Iheanacho. You've got players who can score goals up and down the pitch. So I think if I would feel confident enough that Leicester will get through. Between the other one, it's difficult to say. Marseille, they generally tend to do well in this, the Europa League, don't they? But I think maybe Leicester Marseille final for me.
I mean, a lot of people were saying that before the draw that it would be a Leicester Roma final, but Rob, we touched on Leicester's inability to hold on to a lead at the moment, and if there's ever a team that shoots itself in the foot, I think that is one league we are top of. I mean, with the sort of season we've had, can you see Leicester beating Roma over the 2 legs, or do you think it's a sort of a step too far for us this season?
No, I can see you. I can see you getting past Roma. To be honest with you, Chris, I don't think that there's an awful lot to fear from a team. I mean, they're what, as you said earlier, fifth in the
yes.
Serie A, and
Yeah,
I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
Serie A's not what it was in sort of like the late 80s, early 90s. It's it's not as strong as the Premier League. So fifth in Serie A, I don't really see you should go into it with any inferiority complex. I mean, as you said there, you went to Eindhoven 0-0 in the first leg, and I think a lot of people, Leicester fans probably included, were thinking this could be tricky, and you got through it. So I don't see there's any reason why you can't get past Roma and get to the final. Be interested to see who you get in the final if that does happen, because I look at Feyenoord against Marseille, and I'll be honest with you. I know that graphic again says 11%, but and he might be 35 years of age, and obviously the way he left my club, but Dimitri Payet is still some player.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I need to get back on the site and click it a few more times, don't I? Before we go in the front. I haven't done it today. That's my bad. And if we do get through, then we've got a lovely trip to Tirana in Albania to look forward to. So I know. But it would be nice because it's the first season of the competition. It's the first ever European final in Albania. Who knew? And so there's going to be obviously a new name on the trophy, and it would be great, as we say, if all the English teams could get their name on the trophy. That would be something just totally special. Oh, we've all been very, very nice to each other, and we've all said each of us are going to get through. That's what I like to see. It's a football family coming together, But and for me, like you say, I think there's a few fans that aren't, but I think most fans want English teams to do well. I certainly do, sort of in the European competitions. And just to finish on it, Burnley have beaten Southampton 2-0. So that is going down, possibly to certainly. It's going to go on a little bit. It's not all over. It's not all over yet, but we've got to play Everton again, so who knows? But gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on and joining in there. What we'll do is we'll just go through each one of you here, and we'll try and if I get rid of this, and you can tell where people can find you.
City Fan TV on YouTube. I'll be honest, I don't do that much anymore. Just too busy at the moment, but I spend a lot of time on Twitter. So Ray City Fan TV 1 on Twitter is the best place to find me.
Brilliant. Everybody's links are in the description below on the YouTube channel, on Leicester YouTube channel, so it's there as well. Stephen, Liverpool fan, and I nearly muted you then instead of enlarging you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at Stephen Stubbs 985 or YouTube, Statman Stubbs Football Channel. You can find me on there. Anything Premier League related, predictions, reviews, quizzes, etc. You can find it all on that channel.
Brilliant. I can't believe there's 984 other people called Stephen Stubbs that you've had to go for that number to get it. And then just as we say that, just as we get to the West Ham fan, we get words and pictures coming in. West Ham Fuki massive, and Richard Cox. Yeah, Richard Cox, welcome along, sir. Welcome along. I hope Jake is all wrapped up and tight and asleep in bed and not causing you any troubles. You deserve a trophy just for putting up with Jake, I'll tell you. But he knows I jest. Rob, how can people find you?
Yep, we're on YouTube. If you go to the search bar and just look for Forged from Iron West Ham United to give us our full and complete name. We're also on Facebook, Forged from Iron. We're on Twitter at Forged Talk. We're also on Instagram, Forged from Iron, and we actually also have a TikTok, believe it or not. That was my daughter. That was all to do with my daughter. But if any of you guys haven't already done so, if you would like to give us a follow on social media platforms and also give us a subscribe and on the YouTube channel, it'd be very much appreciated. Thank you.
No, I started a TikTok and I put about 3 videos up and I lost interest in it.
Yeah, it's not really my cup of Tetley, but
no, it's the youngsters in it. You know, it's Ray's sort of area. I tell you what,
I think you just got to get lucky. I did a few videos on TikTok, not actually with football because I didn't think it would work. And some videos get a few hundred views. Some videos, the last one I put got 4 views. So it's kind of hit and miss. And I think if you get something that does well early on, then people will start to follow you. And if you don't, then you just it takes ages to build up. So I think that's why a lot of people just give it up very quickly.
Yeah. Richard did say he's only here for the West Ham.
Cheers, mate.
I just thought it was the spam, to be honest with you. But look,
I thought it was the drink that I said I'd get him at Carrow Road, but
oh, was it? That would be it. He's checking on you. See, he's coming and checking on you, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for coming on. I wish you all the success in every competition that you're still left in. And I have to share that out between Man City and Liverpool because you're fighting each other on 2 fronts. But let's hope in some form or another we get 3 names on the 3 trophies this year. That would be an amazing thing for English football. Congratulations to Burnley winning 2-0 and giving themselves a lifeline. Thanks and good luck to Man City. Thanks and good luck for Liverpool. And obviously exactly the same for West Ham. And I'm sure we'll speak again before the end of the season. But thanks for joining us, guys. And all your links are in the description below on the YouTube channel.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. So, there we go. It's that bit of power when you do that, isn't it? Like, remove. I should have been a teacher. I shouldn't. I bloody killed them, I'll tell you. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We're going to be back. It's Friday, isn't it, tomorrow? I'm completely lost. And we have got a small matter of Aston Villa at the weekend. And we have got a Villa fan joining us for the preview match tomorrow at 7. So it's going to be myself and Craig, and joined by Villa Park Podcast. So looking forward to that. Thanks very much, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, if that's what you've been doing on the podcast platforms. I will see you tomorrow at 7. Take care and good luck to every English team, Liverpool, West Ham, Man City and Leicester in those European semi-finals. Good night now.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.